Sir, can you see, sir, under Section 2 of the original Act, power to take special measures and prescribe regulations as to dangerous epidemic disease has been provided to the state government. And state that section is, when at any time the state government is satisfied that or any part thereof visited by or threatened with an outbreak of any dangerous epidemic disease, the state government thinks that the ordinary provisions of the law for the time being in force are insufficient for the purpose, may take or require or empower any person to take such measures and by public notice prescribing such temporary regulation be observed by the public. This is the power has been given to the state government.
Yes.
Now, what is going to be happen by this introduction of the new proposed amendment? There is a conflict and central government will interfere into the matter. This is the gist of the things. Then why you are keeping state? Take everything you on responsibility? No. On the field, state will work. और हम सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दादागिरी करेंगे हम, लेकिन काम आपको करना होगा नीचे खुद। काम आपको जमीन में करना होगा, हम सिर्फ दादागिरी करेंगे। नाउ दिस इज द रियल अमेंडमेंट। Sir, so far, amendment of Section 2A of the Act is concerned. The central government is not now empowered to take such measures as it deemed fit and prescribe regulations for the inspection of any bus or train or good vehicles or ship or vessel or aircraft arriving, leaving at any land port, aerodrome, and for decision of any person intending to travel arriving thereby. Such provisions are fraught with the sinister possibilities and are liable to be misused at the sweet will of the central government. Rather than acting as an aid in tackling epidemic, the superpowers intervention of center will create more confusion. Moreover, as the ground realities vary from state to state, one uniform set of norms, guidelines, instruction may not be equally efficacious for all the states. So far, instruction of Section 2B is concerned in the new bill, which is going to pass Act. Earlier, safety and security of healthcare service personnel and property during an epidemic did not exist in the Act. Section 2B has been inserted to provide that no person shall indulge in any act of violence against a healthcare service personnel of cause loss, stroke damage to any property during an epidemic. Sir, public health and sanitation, hospitals and dispensaries are state subjects as per the Constitution. However, this amendment to empower the central government for the safety and security of healthcare service personnel property has been presumably promulgated by the Government of India on the strength of one concurrently subject, quote, prevention of the extension from one state to another of infections, contagious disease, pests affecting man, animals or plants. This is nothing but an attempt of the Government of India to encroach upon the constitutionally assigned functioning of the state as the safety and security falls within the broad spectrum of states' legislative exclusive jurisdiction. In this regard, West Bengal is already having a legislation under the title West Bengal Medicare Service Persons and Medicare Service Institution Prevention of Violation of Damage to Property Act 2009, even for realization of the compensation of damage at West Bengal specific. Sir, you were making your speech few minutes back. Come to the interesting part I will show to you. Come to Clause 6 and Clause 7. That's Section 3 and 3A, which are going to be amended. Who will take steps? Which government will take steps? Which officers will take steps? Which investigating agency will take steps? Act is silent. Nothing is there. Where the complaint will be lodged? In which police station? If it is a police station, then the state will have the power to investigate. Nothing. Nothing has been stated. And interestingly, you will find there is no rule-making power in this statute itself. There was this section, these are the two clauses, 3 and 4. It is now, still now it is odious until it is filled up. Lacuna is there.
Yes.
Who will initiate? State government or central government? Who are the officers? Will initiate? Nothing is there, sir. 3 and 4. That's the most interesting part. Defect, rather I say, defect of the bill.
I think Honorable Minister will clarify to you.
No, defect of it. Sir, clarification will not do. Statute has to be read. As you know, whatever written, statute has to be read in that alone. Why? If Nazir Ahmed's case, you have to do the act in terms of the provision of the statute. Any other mode of performance is forbidden. This is the law. If this is the law, clarification will not do. This has to be stated in the act itself, not oral. That will not, even if a case is lost by anyone, nothing will go. Sir, now I am coming. Earlier, section 3 instead subsection 3, 2b and 3 and 3. Sir, I will say that imposing the now penalty has been imposed, shall be punished. The provision has been made. Shall be punished with imprisonment for 3 months to 5 years and with fine from rupees 50,000 to rupees 2 lakh. For grievous act, the prescribed penalty is imprisonment for 6 months to 7 years and fine from rupees 1 lakh to rupees 5 lakh. Imposing such is a huge penalty. In terms of, just give me 2 minutes.
Lenji, you have any other speaker?
I am no other speaker. No speaker.
Oh.
I am only speaker. Imposing such huge penalty in terms of imprisonment up to 7 years and also the fine up to rupees 5 lakh by the central government seems extremely draconian. Instead, the state should be authorized to continue taking decision in this regard. So, for insertion of section 3D, as per the new provisions, sir. See, sir, I can understand. I can understand if an offence has been committed. But in our constitution, in a justice delivery system, justice is having a double role. Is there not a single way, double way? Now, even under, kindly see here, as per the new provision, the accused will have to prove his innocence in terms of not belonging to culpable mental state with respect to the act charged as an offence against him. I support, so far this offence is concerned. But burden of proof would be to the accused. It amounts just remembering the provisions of TADA and etc. That's a tremendously, and it has been in number of acts, these types of provisions have been struck down. These are not that way of our offence. The onus on the accused to prove his innocence, as per this inserted provision, is liable to be misused by vested interest persons. There are, it is no doubt, investigating agency, whoever it may be, state or central, whoever it may be, which state is may be, normally there are vested interests that are there. Unless you satisfy the vested interest, then you will be an accused. In these types of bill, in these types of offence, these types of burden of proof has to be proved by the accused. I think it's a violative of Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Thank you, sir, for giving me the time.
Thank you so much.